Listen up, noble team.
That's a one-way trip.
We will make it sooner or later. Tell him to make it count.
You didn't answer my question.
You want to know if we're losing?
I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost.
I've got the map.
Solid copy. Hit him hard, boss.
You're on your own, Noble. Carter out.
I'm ready! How about you?
Noble 6, the team's most recent addition. My, so much black ink. 6 has made entire militia groups disappear.
Lieutenant, get aboard! Gotta get the hell out of here!
Negative.
I have the gun.
Curious. Hyper lethal. There's only one other Spartan with that rating. Yes, noble team will do. Yet only one of them can carry our last hope. Only one will hold our fate in their hands. So, you've made your choice. Do you have it?
Yes,
Say the words, please.
I have it.
If someone told you exactly how your story was going to end, would you still see it through? Would you keep fighting if you knew you couldn't win? Would you complete the mission, even if it meant sacrificing everything?
Colonel, this is Noble 1. There are no rebels. The Covenant are on Reach. Acknowledge?
Come again, Noble One. Did you say Covenant?
Affirmative. It's the Winter Contingency.
May God help us all.
Scene 2, take 32.
And action.
In 2010, Bungie stood at a crossroads. After nearly a decade defining Xbox with Halo, the studio was finally preparing to leave. This wasn't just another sequel, it was Bungie's final Halo game, the last of the 2 Halo titles they were contractually obligated to make before becoming an independent studio once again. But independence came with a price.
The deal was essentially, we make a couple more Halo games, we leave Halo with Microsoft, and we can split amicably. So, I mean, ultimately the price of our freedom was to leave our baby behind, to move from being Halo developers to Halo fans.
Having to leave Halo behind because we left Microsoft, it's kind of a high price, but that's the price of the next thing that you're going to give birth to.
That's going to be a seminal moment for the studio.
They couldn't take Halo with them. The universe they had built, the characters that they had created, the franchise that had turned Bungie into one of the biggest names in gaming, all of it would stay behind with Microsoft.
Harold had promised Microsoft, we had 2 more Halo games, and Reach was only one of them.
Reach was just perfect. It was the perfect fit for all of the ideas that we were talking about in the early days. Doing something with a little bit of a harder edge than Halo 3, you know, bringing back the scariness and the alienness of the Covenant, all of those sort of dovetailed perfectly with Reach.
If there was ever a moment for a studio to phone it in, this was it. Instead, Bungie did the opposite. They rebuilt major portions of the engine to push the Xbox 360 further than ever before. They introduced armor abilities, sprint, assassination, and an expanded sandbox that fundamentally changed how Halo played. Multiplayer received new modes, new progression, new maps, and the most ambitious version of Forge we had ever seen, complete with massive spaces for players to create. Every system was pushed forward. Every corner of the game felt like it had been given one last polish. Not because Bungie had years to build on the ideas, and not because they would be the ones making the next Halo after this, but because this was goodbye.
I think Halo Reach was the game we were trying to make from the beginning.
Reach is having so much to it. The campaign and the co-op and the DLC and the firefight. I mean, there's just so many elements to these games now.
We have this opportunity to look at the entire franchise, and we were like, okay, it's now our time to close out Bungie's contribution to the Halo universe. How are we going to do that in a way that does justice to this big thing that we created?
And maybe that's why Halo Reach feels so different. It's a game about soldiers who know they can't save the planet, made by a studio that knew it was saying goodbye to a universe it had spent nearly a decade creating. And so today I want to find out if Halo Reach is remembered so fondly simply because it was Bungie's farewell, or was it because this was the moment that Bungie made something truly timeless. As always, I'm your host Ryan. Welcome back to Let's Grill Games. This is the show where we cook good food and talk great games. And if you haven't figured it out by now, today's game is Halo Reach. Now, Halo Reach spends its entire campaign taking us back to where Halo's story truly began. So it only feels right that we do the same. Right now it's dark and the rain has actually rolled in, and this review is coming to you at the end of a very long day. But before we can dive in to everything that Halo Reach has to offer, let's jump back to where our story began. Earlier today when the sun was still out and the grill was just getting fired up. So let me show you what we're cooking. And so for Halo Reach, we're gonna make barbecue chicken along with some sausage. These should be pretty quick, so we're gonna try and keep the temperature as medium as possible. And then we're gonna let the sausages do their work on the top rack, so that way we don't overdo it. What? I guess it's just put it on the grill now. Do it. Okay. Go. The easiest thing that Bungie could have done after Halo 3 was make Halo 4. Master Chief had become one of the most recognizable characters in gaming. The trilogy had just concluded with one of the biggest releases in entertainment history, and fans wanted to know what happened next. But instead, Bungie made the bold decision to go all the way back to the beginning. Not the discovery of Halo, but to the battle that made it all feel possible. Because without the fall of Reach, there is no Halo Combat Evolved. There is no Master Chief escaping aboard the Pillar of Autumn. There is no Halo ring. Everything begins here.
Reach was the ultimate Halo game.
The biggest Halo game we had ever made, the most exciting Halo game we had ever made. It was absolutely liberating to no longer be tied to the storylines from Halo 1, 2, and 3, to sort of know that we were making a standalone.
It's a decision that feels almost foreign today. Modern franchises are often obsessed with moving forward. Bigger sequels, bigger stakes, bigger spectacles. But developers from this era weren't afraid to take creative risks if it would make for a better game. And Halo Reach is exactly that. A prequel where every player already knew the ending. A military shooter where victory was never the objective. A Halo game without Master Chief. On paper, almost every one of these decisions sounds like a terrible idea, but together they became one of Bungie's greatest accomplishments. And maybe that's because Bungie understood exactly what Noble Team was about to experience. By the time Halo Reach entered development, Bungie knew this was their final Halo game. After nearly a decade building the franchise, this was their opportunity to leave their mark before moving on as an independent studio. Halo would stay with Microsoft. The universe they had created would continue without them. They could have coasted to the finish line, but instead they treated Reach like it was their masterpiece.
We finish a project, we do a lot of soul searching. A lot of reference got kicked around. The Seven Samurai, the Magnificent Seven. We talked very early on about showing off a more human approach to Spartans.
We definitely focused on trying to go back to sort of the core of what made Halo CE, the Combat Evolved, the sort of phenomenon that it is.
I remember my first time playing Halo, and I was in that first level, and after winding through these technical corridors, fighting aliens, and then I step out into this world, and it just opens up in front of me, and it's beautiful and alien and huge. That was a sort of seminal moment for me, and I think that's part of what we want to capture in Reach.
Something that was core to the game at the beginning was that sense of wonder and exploration. We started with a series of events. We basically set out like, okay, from this date on Reach to this date, we built a military campaign.
We all had a desire to really flesh out the backstory of what happened prior to Master Chief and Cortana even entering the picture. We knew there were other Spartans, and it just seemed like such a rich area to tell a character-driven story with new characters.
They pushed the engine further than ever before, delivering better lighting, improved visuals, and a more efficient technical foundation. They reinvented gameplay with armor abilities, sprint, assassinations, and one of the most diverse weapon sandboxes the series had ever seen.
You have to walk this very fine balance. We want to add new things, but we don't want to rough up anybody's baby.
I mean, that's the whole thing about the crazy sausage that is Bungie's Halo Reach ODST universe, is that we've sort of developed this gameplay that every person sort of has the different things about it that they like, and I still think that we still struggle to figure out exactly what, like what can we add or remove without pissing off certain people of the population.
We looked at the Halo 3 assault rifle, and it really does feel kind of dated. It fit the tech then, but now we have all of these new polygons to play with.
We went to a lot of trouble to sort of ground the weapons and the vehicles more in this sort of more real, more gritty world. We refined a lot of the weapons to push them into their particular role, and that role is defined a lot by range and the range of combat that you're going to play. For instance, the DMR, which is this sort of medium to long range suppression marksman rifle.
It's going to be a sandbox game. It's not going to be a carefully scripted game where every movement of the AI is controlled by a mission designer. It's much broader than that. It allows the player to deal with encounters in their own specific way. There's definitely going to be offhand grenade throwing. There's definitely going to be vehicles. There's definitely going to be a large number of weapons that are incredibly powerful, incredibly accurate, that allow the player to feel like a badass.
Multiplayer received new maps, new modes, progression, and even dedicated Forge spaces. And the most powerful version of Forge that players had ever touched. This wasn't the work of a studio checking a box. It was the work of a studio saying goodbye. Which is why the parallel between Bungie and Noble Team is so fascinating. Both knew that the mission was coming to an end, and neither of them expected to come back. But both chose to give everything that they had anyways. One of Halo Reach's strengths is that it understands something even most traditional war stories don't. Death isn't tragic because it happens. It's tragic because life doesn't stop when it does. From the very beginning, Bungie spends surprisingly little time convincing you that Noble Team are heroes.
Lieutenant.
Commander, sir.
I'm Carter, Noble Team's leader. That's Kat, Noble 2, Neil and George 4 and 5. You're riding with me, Noble 6.
Not gonna lie to you, Lieutenant. You're stepping into some shoes the rest of the squad would rather leave unfilled. Me, I'm just happy to have Noble back up to full strength. Just one thing, I've seen your file, even the parts the Oni sensors didn't want me to. I'm glad to have your skill set. But we're a team. That lone wolf stuff stays behind. Clear?
Got it, sir.
Welcome to Reach.
They don't deliver long emotional speeches. They aren't constantly telling you what they're fighting for. Instead, they let you live beside them. You hear Carter's quiet confidence.
Wouldn't be a noble mission if it were easy.
The Covenant are on Reach. Affirmative. It's the winter contingency.
June's calm professionalism.
Look at this place. Used to be the crown jewel. I'll do what's necessary, sir. Good luck.
Kat's relentless focus.
I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost. First glass in. Me too.
George's compassion.
We will make it sooner or later. Reach has been good to me. Time has come to return the favor. Sha'ainamon, I'm sorry.
And Emil's aggression.
The big man was sentimental. I'm ready! How about you?
These aren't larger-than-life superheroes. They're soldiers doing a job. That grounded approach makes what happens later feel so much more believable. And then, Bungie begins taking them away. George is the first. His sacrifice is one of the most emotionally effective moments in the entire Halo universe.
Distance is closing on this vessel's refueling track with the Covenant supercarrier. 76 seconds to endpoint.
So, it's gonna be like that. Well, I got good news and bad news. This bird took some fire and our thruster gimbal is toast, which means the only way off this slag heap is gravity.
And the good news?
That was the good news.
At current velocity, 53 seconds to endpoint.
Yeah. Bad news is, time is fried. I'm gonna have to fire it manually.
That's a one-way trip.
We all make it sooner or later. Better get going, Six. They're gonna need you down there. Listen, Reach has been good to me. Time has come to return the favor. Don't deny me this. Tell him to make it count.
Because for a brief moment, both he and the player believe that it worked. We all believed the Covenant supercarrier is destroyed and Reach is saved. George gives his life believing his sacrifice changed the course of the war. Then Bungie pulls the rug from under you.
Slip space rupture detected.
Gamma station control, reading multiple pings below the orbital defense.
Slip space rupture detected.
Yeah, we're picking up anomalies too. Are you reading it?
Slip space rupture detected.
Multiple Covenant signatures.
Slip space
Anyone
rupture
else?
detected.
They're everywhere.
Slip space rupture detected.
The whole damn Covenant
Slip
fleet.
space rupture detected.
An entire Covenant fleet emerges from slip space. Not dozens of ships, hundreds. Everything George gave his life for is erased in seconds. His sacrifice wasn't meaningless, though. It bought humanity time. It saved Noble Six. But that's what makes it hurt. Heroism doesn't always change history. Sometimes it simply gives someone else one more chance to fight. And from that point on, the campaign changes. Hope slowly gives way to inevitability. Every mission feels heavier than the last because you begin to realize that this isn't a story about surviving. It's a story about delaying the inevitable. And then Kat dies. I gotta be honest, even 16 years later, I don't think I've seen another game handle a character death quite like this.
40 million root guns.
Just lost Holland. What's going on?
Atomic excitement scrambled the signal. 90 million now.
Source?
Airborne. Close.
How close?
That close! First glassing? Me too. Don't worry, I'm on it. Our best option is a fallout bunker on sub-level 2, 96 meters northeast. We get orders from Holland, sir?
We're being redeployed to Sword Base.
Sword? Covenant own it now!
Which is why they want us for a torch and burn op. Keep Dr. Halsey's excavation data from falling into enemy hands.
If it hasn't already.
Maybe, but according to Holland, the Covenant are still hunting for something.
Where does he get off calling a demolition a priority 1?
Come on, get in!
Let's go, come on!
There isn't swelling music, there isn't a dramatic cutscene, there isn't a heroic final stand. It's over before your brain even has time to process what happened, and that's exactly why it works. Movies and games have conditioned us to expect death to be cinematic. We expect final speeches, emotional embraces, one last act of heroism. Bungie understood that war doesn't care about our expectations. Sometimes death isn't grand. Sometimes it interrupts a conversation. Sometimes the only thing left is the stunned silence of the people who are still alive. It's one of the boldest moments that Bungie ever wrote because it refuses to give the audience the emotional release that they're expecting. The story simply keeps moving because that's what war does. And by the time Carter, Emil, and eventually Noble 6 make their own final sacrifices, the game isn't trying to shock you anymore. It's showing you what courage actually looks like. Not winning, not surviving, but continuing the fight even after you've accepted you're never going home. And that's why Halo Reach works. The tragedy isn't that Noble Team dies. The tragedy is that every one of them knows that the mission matters anyways, despite their deaths. As incredible as the campaign is, Halo Reach wouldn't be remembered so fondly if the gameplay couldn't back it up, and thankfully, it absolutely does.
Campaign prepares an amazing table, but multiplayer's your meal.
I could eat it every goddamn day, forever.
It's like sitting around on the couch with 7 of your buddies, playing Halo multiplayer, trash talking.
2 men enter, the better man leaves. The lesser man is respawning, and that's Halo.
The first thing that stands out is just how versatile the sandbox feels. Bungie expanded Halo's arsenal with weapons that each serve a distinct purpose, and encounters that constantly encourage you to adapt. Whether you're picking enemies apart with the DMR, charging into the room with a shotgun, or sticking an elite with a perfectly timed plasma grenade, combat always felt dynamic.
We made a bunch of changes in Reach that are pretty significant.
For multiplayer especially, there's a lot of people who are super passionate about the features that we put into it.
The DMR is absolutely an awesome, worthy successor to the battle rifle.
You kind of get control over how accurate your shot is going to be. If you're spamming that trigger as fast as you can fire it, it's going to go kind of wild. If you're trying to hit a guy really, really far away, then you have to slow that down.
Everyone's totally destroying with the DMR. It's like everyone's got a Death Star in their hands.
I usually go back to the Needler. That's one that always makes me happy.
Everyone's always wanted the Needler to be sweet because it's hilarious and fun. Then it gets too sweet, or all of a sudden something gets fixed, and it's like, oh, tracking's fixed now, and you're like, guys just burst.
It's been fun to go back and kind of re-envision some of the old friends.
Like the sniper rifle. Like I pick up the sniper rifle and I'm like, this is it. It's totally happening, and I'm about to rain death on the plebeians that I work with. Overkill. And I'm like, yep. It's back.
The Covenant focus rifle is awesome because it's like that Sentinel beam from Halo 2, but now it's a sniper weapon.
When the pistol started to come back, it was insane. It was so awesome.
Every firefight became its own little puzzle, and Reach gave you plenty of ways to solve it. Then there are the armor abilities, and at the time they were one of the biggest changes that Halo had ever seen.
I'm super excited to see what people do with armor abilities. It totally changes the game.
You've got this secret weapon in your back pocket that's your 4th leg of fun.
What do you want to be? Like invisible? Do you want to fly? Do you want to turn to stone?
With Reach, you've got guys in jetpacks flying around, invisibility guys just showing up.
It's kind of a give and take between us and Sage and Josh, trying to figure out what's that perfect balance with all the new stuff.
Sprint made maps feel larger, and the jetpack completely changed verticality. Armor lock, drop shield, active camo, every ability gave the players another layer of decision making before the fight even began. Not every ability was perfectly balanced, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but there's no denying that they made Halo Reach feel unlike any other Halo that had come before it. And outside of the campaign, Halo Reach might just be one of the most content-rich Halos that Bungie ever released. Firefight returned, of course, with more customizations than ever. Forge became an entire platform thanks to Forge World.
The first time I looked at Forge World, and I was like, oh, hey, cool, that's... Oh, holy, you guys did what?
There's just way too much. You can't keep it all in your head at once.
It was so beyond our production capability. We were just like, that's crazy. We can't do that. I couldn't stop the artist who started creating it.
Forge is our editing tool that players can build their own maps. I mean, at its core, it's a map editor. We always had this vision right from the get-go, which is anyone can build anything.
Giving the fans the tools, they can take it and run with it and make it their own.
Forge World actually started as 5 separate maps.
And I said, wouldn't it be cool if like you could play this and go over there and then play over there if you wanted? And Forge World was born.
There were a lot of people telling us that, no, you cannot ship this as one big map.
We have this awesome new automatically generated LOD system called impostering that makes objects that are really far away really cheap to draw.
We're pushing what we can do with the Forge budget, so that lets us have many more objects up on the screen at once, which lets us put more objects into Forge.
Interesting to take the Banshee or Falcon out for a spin in Forge World, because it actually takes a while to get from one end to the other.
A massive blank canvas that spawned thousands of incredible community creations. And we can't forget one of the best armor customization systems in any of the series, a satisfying progression system, countless multiplayer playlists, custom games, and an incredible soundtrack tying all of this together. That's right, Marty. We didn't forget you. All of this coming together, and it's easy to see why so many players spent years in Reach without ever getting bored. Even today, Halo Reach feels like a game built by a studio determined to leave absolutely nothing on the table. At this point, I think it's pretty clear where I stand on Halo Reach. I genuinely believe that it's one of Bungie's finest achievements. From the storytelling and atmosphere to its gameplay and sheer amount of content, there's a reason so many people still hold it in such high regard all these years later. But loving a game doesn't mean pretending that it's perfect. But if I'm going to celebrate everything that Reach gets right, it's only fair that we spend a few minutes talking about the things that it doesn't. But thankfully, there aren't many. The first criticism is probably the most divisive, and it's the introduction of armor abilities. I actually appreciate Bungie for taking the risk. We've talked about this before in the series, that I will always appreciate somebody or a studio that's willing to take a risk over playing it safe. I mean, you have to think about it. After 3 mainline Halo games, simply making more Halo would have been the safest option. Instead, they experimented with mechanics like sprint and jetpack, drop shield, active camo, and armor lock. All of this to make Reach feel distinct from everything that came before it. Some of those additions worked incredibly well, others not so much. Armor lock disrupted the flow of combat in ways that are still debated by Halo fans to this day. Even beyond the individual abilities, the introduction of sprint in this game marked one of the biggest philosophical shifts that the series had ever seen. Whether you love it or hate it, Halo Reach is really where the conversation about Halo's identity began, and it's a debate that the franchise is still having all these years later. And my other criticism is one that's only grown stronger the more that I've played the game. Noble Six walks a strange line between being a player avatar and being an actual character. Don't tear me up in the comments on this. Hear me out for just a second. On one hand, Bungie intentionally keeps Six fairly quiet so that players can project themselves into the role. It works very well from an immersion standpoint, and it helps to sell the fantasy that you are the newest member of Noble Team. But when you start digging into Halo's expanded lore, it becomes clear that Noble Six isn't just another Spartan. Before the events of Reach, Six had earned the reputation as one of UNSC's deadliest operators. In fact, the supplementary lore of the Halo universe describes Noble Six as the only Spartan besides Master Chief to receive the classification of hyper-lethal. That immediately makes Six one of the most fascinating Spartans in the entire universe. And yet, we barely get to explore any of that. Outside of a few small references, we never really learn what made Noble Six so legendary. We don't get hints or stories of those impossible missions. We don't see the experiences that shaped them before joining Noble Team. Instead, Bungie keeps Six intentionally reserved, choosing player immersion over deeper characterization. I understand why they made that decision, but I just can't help but feel like there was room to give Noble Six just a little more personality, without sacrificing the player's connection to the character still. But neither of these criticisms comes close to overshadowing what Halo Reach accomplishes. If anything, they stand out because everything else is executed at such an incredibly high level. One of the biggest complaints I have involve a few controversial gameplay experiments and wishing I knew more about one of Halo's most intriguing Spartans. I'd say Bungie did just about everything else right. But before we go any further, let's check out where we're at with the grilling portion of this video. Look, when I first started playing Halo Reach for this series, I expected to enjoy it. What I didn't expect was to come away appreciating it even more than I did 16 years ago. Because I think that Halo Reach isn't to be remembered simply because it was Bungie's last Halo game. I think it deserves to be remembered today because Bungie refused to treat it like one. They could have played it safe. They could have made another Master Chief adventure. They could have coasted through the finish line knowing that somebody else would inherit the franchise. But instead, they took a risk. They decided to plant their flag and tell a story where everyone already knew the ending. They introduced an entirely new cast of characters right at the end of their tenure. And like we talked about, they reinvented Halo's gameplay, expanded multiplayer, pushed the Xbox 360 further than ever before, and poured every ounce of creativity they had into a world they knew they were about to leave behind. And somehow, that decision made Halo Reach feel more personal than any game in the series. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that the game's greatest strength isn't just Noble Team. It's the parallel between the people inside the story and the people making it. Noble Team accepts that they won't live to see the end of the war, but they complete the mission anyways. Bungie knew that they would never make another Halo game. They gave this one everything they had anyway. Both understood that sometimes the measure of a mission isn't whether you get to see what comes next. It's whether you leave the people who come after you with something worth fighting for. Without Noble Team, there is no Halo Combat Evolved. Without Halo Reach, I don't think that Bungie could have written a more fitting farewell to the franchise they created. 16 years later, Halo Reach isn't just one of the greatest Halo games ever made, it's one of the greatest send-offs a game studio has ever given its own creation. And honestly, I can't think of a better way for Bungie to have said goodbye. I'm Ryan, this is Let's Grill Games. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.